Welcome, everyone, to the fourth and final week of the Advisor Ambassador Program. My name is Zach Hewells, and I'm the Program Engagement Manager at NAIFA. Very excited to close out this month of the Advisor Ambassador Program. And I just want to thank you all for joining us for the program. And we have a special guest today, Karina Hatfield from NAIFA, Pennsylvania, who is here to talk about leadership in the industry and your community, a topic that she has done before, and it's a topic that is near and dear to her heart as she gets involved in the industry and her community as well. And volunteerism is always important. But I would just like to, before we actually jump into this, just talk a little bit about the Advisor Ambassador Program. So now that we are in our last week, if you have missed any sort of recordings or anything like that, please reach out to me at zhewells@naifa.org, and I can send you any recordings that you may have missed, as certificates will be going out at the beginning of August. So stay tuned for that, and thank you so much again for participating. But now I'd like to turn things over to Karina so she can impart her wisdom onto you all today. So Karina, thank you so much for joining us again today.
You're welcome. Thanks, Zach, for asking me. I'm glad I could help out and happy to share about leadership and my involvement not only in this industry and in this association, but also in my community. So I'll share a little bit about myself. I am an agency owner, independent agency owner as of July 1st. I was a nationwide agent for 8 years up until then, so it's a little odd saying that. I'm a third generation agent. So my dad there, which is in the picture, he's on the left. My dad was my boss for quite some time before I took over. And my grandfather was also a nationwide agent before Nationwide was Nationwide. So we've been in this industry. My family's been in this industry. And we've always been in the community, probably about a 15-mile radius. Our offices always have been. And that's where I grew up. So I spent a lot of time in my community doing things for my community. So happy to share a little bit about that. So in that picture there, there's me in the middle 10 years ago. Look a little different today, especially with some quarantine hair here. Like I said, my dad on the left, and he was very involved in NAIFA as well. Did a lot with our community. He also, he enjoyed boating. We never owned a boat. He enjoyed boating, and he taught boater safety class. So that just shows you, leadership he did for the community. And then on the right there is Doug Trainer. He worked in our office. He was very involved and instrumental in me getting into the business and doing a lot that I do today as far as community involvement. And he was also my Lily moderator, and I'm sure, or my Lily mentor, and I'm sure Lily has been talked about the last few weeks, and I'll talk a little bit about it again today, but that's your Leadership in Life Institute that NAIFA offers, near and dear to my heart, and he was my mentor in 2008 when I took the class. He helped me as I became a moderator and moderated a class last year. And he's still involved in a couple things that I'm involved in today. Got me involved a bit on the community side as a business owner when I transitioned into that. And so, my first thing I would say about leadership is to have a mentor, find someone who you can trust, who you can talk to. So Doug and my dad were those people. And I will say Doug worked for us. Or with us. And my dad passed away in 2013. And he was the first person I called when I didn't know what to do. So, my dad was the owner. He passed away. I lost my job, lost my dad, lost the whole gamut and didn't know where to go or who to turn to. And he had left our office at the time. He was not working with us, but he was that first call I made because he was someone I knew I could talk to. And he would have an unbiased opinion and really help me and do what's best for me. And so you want to make sure, that you have that person, but also maybe that you can be that person for somebody, because there are a lot of times I feel like I'm that person for someone, and I never thought that would be something I would be, but just being there and being helpful. So here's a quote I enjoy. Leadership is not about titles, positions, or flowcharts. It is about one life influencing another. And I like that quote because I've been involved in leadership a lot and in a lot of positions. But I've also done a lot of things with leadership that wasn't about my position. I wasn't the chair, I wasn't the president. I do a lot of things now that I enjoy helping out with. And people would say, "Oh, you're in a position of leadership," and I don't have that title. So, and I think that's a big thing to remember is that you can be a leader and not be a manager or not be the owner, not be the chairperson or the president. But it's about influencing other people. And John Maxwell, if you haven't read any of his books, Developing the Leader Within You and the 360-Degree Leader are two that I would recommend that he wrote. So leadership skills. A lot of people, when they're starting into a position or just want to know something about leadership skills, I think you need to know where your strengths are. You need to know what leadership skills you have. And so I would suggest taking a leadership test. There are a million tests out there. I have 2 on there, emotional intelligence and Myers-Briggs, and some charts. During Lilly, we do some kites. We've done color tests, all kinds of stuff to find out what your leadership strengths are. And then also what your strengths are as a person. And this is a good thing when you're looking for a mentor or you're looking to be a mentor. You want to find someone that complements you. You also want to find someone that might be the same as you, and you need to recognize those things in people. So when you're find someone who has that same leadership skill, or they're the same color or in that same kite chart as you, you're going to find that you're going to butt heads a lot of times because you have the same views, and when you find that person that complements you, you might butt heads as well, but that's because you're coming from other aspects of things. For instance, my sister is my office manager. Her and I are absolute opposites. So we do our leadership test or emotional intelligence, ranking leadership adjectives, that type of stuff, and we are polar opposites. We run completely different sides of that chart. And what we recognize in that is that we need to take a step back and listen and learn to what different points of view. And it's a really good thing to remember. And when you're hiring, if you're in that position where you're hiring people, you want to look at that and realize that, if you want that team that's going to be exactly the same, then you want to hire to that leadership test that matches you. If you want to find someone to round out something, you want to find the people that aren't in that leadership skill or leadership test that matches you. So leadership in the industry. Leadership in the industry is about helping others. That's what our business is about, helping others. So why wouldn't it be, something that we do with leadership as well? So there's 5 ways, I think, main categories to help in leadership. And so we'll talk a little bit about those. So helping leaders, the first thing is to recognize, as a leader, is to recognize people. So that could be recognize someone who has a great sale, recognize someone who, made that 20th phone call and didn't give up, recognize someone who over the weekend ran a race that you saw on social media. Recognizing them in all aspects of their life is a great quality to have as a leader. Also bringing business their way. So, working on your leadership skills and finding a way that you can bring business and refer business to someone, be it someone in your industry, be it someone outside the industry. So, having that list of people that you come across or you work with. So attorneys, I deal a lot in the property and casualty space. So I have some contractors that I'm good friends with, and bringing business their way is a great way to put yourself in a leadership position in our industry. Volunteer some time. So I volunteer a good deal, not only within NAIFA by doing these classes, and like I said, being the Lilly moderator. I'm a Pennsylvania State's vice president, so I'm going up the chairs, and I'll be president in January. So I do a lot within our industry. I meet with our legislators and things like that, and it does not only a great justice for myself, I feel good, makes my heart happy, but it also helps my clients as well. I come back and we make a point in our office to post and say what we're doing for our clients when we're talking to our legislators or we're spending a day in DC. doing professional development. It just shows that you care not only about yourself, but about your clients as well. So make sure you're volunteering time, no matter where it is. It's the school, it's, you know, baseball, whenever we're back in those environments, just volunteering some time. I know a lot now, in our industry or our area, they've been asking for people to donate at the food drop off at our schools, because they're still doing lunches and things like that. Spend an hour there, you know, anything you can do. Number 4, share your knowledge. So I'm trying to do that a little bit today. And I also, outside of the industry, these two people here on the screen, I share some knowledge with them. I'm a captain of our Ragnar relay running team, and it's a fun thing that we do. I got them into running, and they're both from NAFA. They're both past presidents of Pennsylvania, Christine and Joe. And we all share our knowledge. We all help each other in the industry in different ways. Christine's more on the advisor side, as well as Joe, and he does accounting. And then I work in the property and casualty space. And we share knowledge with each other, and we're a sounding board for each other. I'm on the eastern side of the state, Christine's in the western side of the state, and Joe's smack in Harrisburg in the middle. So, you know, we share that with each other and call each other and things like that. Often get together when we can, and we share that together. So definitely nice to have a sounding board. And as much as I feel like they're leaders, they feel that I am as well, you know, with that. And then give feedback. This is a big one, working in a leadership role. You know, one of the things we joke around about, really having a distaste for, I guess I'll say, is being videotaped, right? So I remember when I first went to my first training, we had to be videotaped. And we were doing sales practices and things like that, and we were videotaped. And the one thing I remember is I had on a bracelet that jangled, and I moved my wrists around all the time. And so, you know, the feedback was, don't wear the bracelet, or don't jangle your arm around. And it was a great tool for me, put me in an uncomfortable place, but you know, it was great feedback to hear. So when you're going to give feedback, don't just always be that yes person. Yes, this is great. You know, make sure you're giving feedback that's constructive and positive and helping other people learn. So make sure, you know, if somebody's very monotone or always using their hands or says a lot or like a lot, which I'm sure I'm probably doing all of those things right now. Make sure you're giving that feedback and helping them be a better person. And then also, you know, if you run into somebody that needs feedback, but you don't know how to give it to them, maybe work into a situation where you're saying, hey, I need help. Can you practice with me, and maybe we'll practice with you? Can we work on this together? And get into a situation, if you're not comfortable being that person that just says, hey, I heard you do this, maybe change that. You know, work out a way that you can create a scenario for yourself. So ways to be a leader. We lead in all different directions. So we can lead up, right? We can reach up and ask for help as a leader. We can look down, we can look sideways, and every which way. And a big thing I think I like to remember is that being a leader, again, doesn't have to be that position, that title. There's many ways to be a leader. Our local chamber association just recreated our women's group, and it's called Reach. And the reason it's called Reach is because we can reach in many different ways and many different facets. And I think, you know, reminding yourself that being a leader is in many different ways and many different facets as well. The big thing I do say to people, though, is manage your time wisely. So there are many different ways to be a leader. You get recognized as that, you get asked to do that, and you want to. Make sure you're managing that time and scheduling stuff out for yourself. As far as industry leadership, this is our Pennsylvania State Day on the Hill a couple years ago. Get volunteer, get involved in volunteering. And this can be for an hour, or this can be for, you know, a couple hours a month, or an hour a week, or an hour a month, but just get involved in your industry leadership. You'll get so much back, so much more back than you give. Get involved with PAC or PIC, the Political Action Committee or the Political Involvement Committee. There are ways that you can definitely stand out as a leader in our industry and get involved with our legislators. attend Day on the Hill. Like I said, that's the picture of me in Harrisburg. Congressional Conference is the Day on the Hill down in DC. They're great things to attend. P+P, that's our Performance and Purpose Conference. It's virtual this year, so take advantage of that. And it's something I've looked forward to. I grew up going to our conferences. I've gone to them since I was a baby. So I was so happy to go to them and learn and be with people that I grew up with. There are some of us second and third generation agents that I still get to see every single year. But it's a great way to connect with people all throughout the country and just see what other people are doing. And I really encourage it. The NAIFA is really one of the places where people who are, I guess, competitors, share their knowledge. They share those things. They share what they have, and really, it's a bunch of people who just want to see other people succeed. And so it's great. You don't have to worry about. I have some great friends that are State Farm agents or Allstate agents, and it doesn't matter that we represent different companies. We're there for our clients, and I really think that that's a big thing with NAIFA to share and a way to be involved in the leadership side of things. So how to develop your leadership skills. So maybe you just got hired, you're not in a leadership role, or you are, and you want to work on those. My first thing is, obviously joining NAIFA will help you do that, so you can network with some other industry leaders. It's a great association and a reminder when I see people and I see our board of directors and things like that, and our chair people, that we're all people and they're willing to help. You can walk up and ask them any questions, and it's a great way to network and have a great group of people to work with. NAIFA's Leadership and Life Institute. So this is a 6-month commitment. We're working on some virtual stuff right now. I know there are some classes going on. We currently in Pennsylvania kind of held off on ours, but it's a really, it's a class that's meant to get to know you, get to know yourself, get to know how you are in your community, how you are as a person, how you are at work, with your family. And it really helps develop those leadership skills and see where you want to work with and increase your skills as a person. And then, leadership skills is other designations. So your LUTCF designation, the long-term care designation. There's all kinds of designations and letters after your name that you can earn, and a lot of them will help you with your leadership skills, and then also just training in general. So Lily, I made a little note because I missed it last month when we were talking. So it's leadership and personal development thinking. It's tools to improve your practice and help you create a business plan. And that was one of the things I forgot to talk about last month, is creating that business plan for yourself. And I think that's huge. My business plan had my volunteer efforts in it, had my personal plan. It wasn't really just my business, it was me as a whole, and really working on some leadership stuff. So I just want to put that plug in there too. How to develop leadership skills, right? Ask your company outside of the NAIFA stuff, ask your company, what do they have to offer? What trainings do they have that you can go to? And sometimes you swipe through those emails of trainings or webinars, but ask your managers, ask your owners, what do you have that I can have access to? And a lot of times a good amount of that stuff is either CE approved, or it's free, or minimal cost, definitely worth it. Your local SCORE chapter. So this is something that is a national organization for business startups. They help you work with business management plans and all kinds of stuff. My girlfriend just decided she wanted to start a restaurant. She's in HR at a school. And the SCORE chapter, our local SCORE chapter, has been amazing to her. So I've done some of the trainings with her for that. And just what they have to offer, definitely look at SCORE. And then your local Chamber of Commerce. They do a lot of leadership trainings. They do a lot of networking to help you hone those skills and make you be seen as a leader in the community or a leader in the industry, and get involved there, get to know people. So they see your face and recognize your name as, what, they're at these events, they're networking, they know their stuff. So definitely use your local chamber of commerce. And if you're not comfortable with your chamber of commerce, I will say reach out to, we have chamber ambassadors, our chapter, the executive directors, your chamber president even. Reach out to them before you attend an event and say, hey, I'm new, I don't know anyone, can you please introduce me to X? Or is there someone, I'm in this industry, tell them you're a financial advisor or your insurance. Is there someone that you can introduce me to? I did that when I was very young. I was 24 when I started in the industry, and my dad said, you have to go to these chamber events. And I was so scared and so young. I felt so young. And I reached out to our chamber president, and she put me with one of the ambassadors who just walked around with me and networked with me. And it was really nice, and we're still friends to this day. So definitely use your local chamber of commerce for that. Leadership in your community. These are things that I'm involved in our community. So on the left is my sister. We were both grew up in Girl Scouts. We were very involved in Girl Scouts. I actually am a Girl Scout leader today. And I ran our service unit for a while. It's just a passion of mine. So find out what you're passionate about and get involved in some manner there. I will say I use our local financial advisors. I don't teach the class with Girl Scouts on finance. I use somebody else. I have an accountant come in and ask them to speak on that. So if you have that knowledge, reach out to those groups, to Scouts and the Boys and Girls Clubs and things like that, and say, can I teach a class on how to balance a checkbook, or can I teach a class on financial advising? Trust me, these people they want the help and they don't know where to go. Other things I'm passionate about, the Reach, like I said, that's our women's group, and I've helped worked with that. And we have a every other Tuesday coffee chat now. During COVID, I started that. So something I was passionate about, keeping in touch with the other females in our community and what was going on, kind of keep in touch with them because our office is closed. So I wanted to do that, and that was a way. I worked with our chamber president, and I host the coffee chat every other Tuesday. And then the other thing is our Ragnar relays, and I put that there. I've huge passion for running, and I'm the captain of our team. We just finished our 6th Ragnar. This last one was virtual, but every year we get together either camping or on the road for hours doing an overnight relay of 200 miles. And it's honestly a mix of people that I've met from NAIFA, some family members, and an outreach of friends, and it's been great. And they hound me about being the captain, but I enjoy it, and I enjoy all year keeping in touch with them and making sure they're working on their health and fitness goals. Just a personal passion for me. So, we keep in touch that way. So who needs help? And we've kind of touched on this a little bit, or I've touched on this a little bit. Boys and girls clubs need help. Young professional groups need help. And a lot of young professional groups, even our young advisor team here, we reach out to our senior members for help and assistance. So don't be afraid if you are out of that. Typically it's a 40-year or younger category. If you're over that, don't be afraid to reach in and as a help or assistance. Community groups, your nonprofits, charities, youth organizations. There are a million ways. I'm sure you all can think of other ways to get involved in leadership in your community. Nonprofits are looking for board of directors members like no other. And so get involved if you can find someone or a group that you're passionate about. And if you don't want to get on a board or do any of that because you're just starting in this industry and that's a little too much, I hear you. Volunteer, but again, make sure you're not volunteering at 8 different places. Make sure you're, pick 1 or 2, pick an hour or so commitment a month, and get involved a little bit that way. Trust me, they'll suck you in. Don't worry about that. The big thing is get up and do something. So just find some way. And I think, it might be a little bit hard now in this environment with networking and things like that. I know our scouting groups are doing virtual meetings. So we're having people come in and speak on finance or speak on budgeting, focus on goal setting, those type of things. And that's just in our industry. We're having people do all kinds of things outside of that with science and math and other things. So just get up and get involved in some way. Post on social media that you're doing this and you're willing to spend this amount of time. Trust me, someone will find you to get involved and help. So just get up and do something is my big thing. So I would like to say thank you. If anybody has any questions or suggestions, I am here and I will answer anything. And thank you, Zach.
Karina, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. And, last month when you presented the 3 takeaways that I really have been working on this past month as homework for myself are actually recognizing others, giving good feedback that's constructive and positive, and getting up and doing something. That is, those are the 3 things that I wrote down, and I wrote down again because I set reminders to always just like keep in the back of my mind just for things like that. But I was curious, and anyone else on the call can answer as well if they have taken it. What are your Myers-Briggs letters?
I have, you know what? I have to look it up and I have to do them again. When we did the color test, I was red, every color but green, which is your organizational and like spreadsheet analytic. And it's not me. That's not me at all. So I wasn't shocked by that. I was very like red and people pleasing, blue, which is that didn't surprise me at all.
Mm-hmm.
And then the kite chart, that was the most recent one I did. Again, the same thing, like the analytics and the organization was not there at all. The rest of it, fabulous.
Yeah, Myers-Briggs is great. I take it every few years or so. I always get the same one, but yeah.
I wanted to look at my binder and see what it was, but I'll have to do it again. I'll let you know, Zach. Has anyone else done any? Stop my sharing. Yeah, maybe homework. Let's do a Myers-Briggs test.
Myers-Briggs and see what we get. Well, Karina, I really appreciate, again, your time today, and I do appreciate everyone being on the call. If there are any questions that you think of later and you want to send an email, Myers-Briggs, it has been quite a few years, yes. And you do want to send an email to me or Karina, please reach out to me and I can pass things on to Karina if you would like me to. But
yeah, sure.
That's our program for July, and I thank you all for joining us and hope everyone has a fantastic week.
Thank you.
Take care.